All right. Thank you, Jared, for the first super of the night. He says, I just love when Manny blows bubbles instead of running to first after the third baseman boots the shit out of the ball. I mean, isn't he our captain? So let me just say this. The circumstances here where I get more upset is not at Manny not, quote unquote, hustling or sprinting down the line. We have said this repeatedly, Jim, over the last 96 hours. He's not healthy, or the last week. So you're not going to see him sprinting on the field. The bigger issue is if he's not healthy, which we all agree. I mean, look at the way he ran down the first base line. If he can't play to his fullest extent, then why is he active? So that's the question. It's not like this became a big deal on social media. Mets fans talking about it, baseball fans talking about it, everyone trolling Manny Machado, a lot of questions. And oh my gosh, I can't believe he runs like that down the line. Well, if you don't know the backstory, the guy is hurt. But okay, if you're hurt, then why are you playing? So that to me is the bigger concern. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Again, any other runner in baseball, Jim, is safe there because every other runner in baseball is healthy other than Manny Machado right now. So I'm more concerned with him being active and not healthy than his quote unquote like inability to get down the line here tonight.
I mean, this is exactly what I was worried about. And why last week I was so kind of on the side of just like go on the IL for just just do it. Like, what are we doing here? And I knew this was going to happen. I knew there was going to be an instance, and he got lucky for, this last series that there really wasn't a moment where this type of thing could have happened. And also, by the way, it doesn't help Manny that it's 1 in New York and 2 versus the Mets. Like if it's against the A's, maybe no one's really talking about it nationally, but you are now searching Manny Machado on social media, and the first thing you see is Manny jogging up the first base line, blowing a bubble.
Yeah.
No one's going to research that he is injured. No one's going to research that he's probably under strict orders to not run full speed. And by the way, Manny's not going to be running full speed right now because he can't run full speed because he's got a fucked up quad. All right. Strained his quad. That's an injury that takes longer than 6 days to heal or however long, whatever. And this has nothing to do, I think, with like his conditioning or people saying he's overweight or I don't think it has anything to do with that. The only thing that has to do with is he's playing injured or he's playing hurt. Excuse me. He's playing hurt. He's playing hurt and he's playing with an injury that is not going to allow him to run faster than like 60%. So
and he doesn't run fast as it is.
No, he doesn't. But I bet
he doesn't get down the line.
I bet you if he was fully healthy, he beats it out. He beats that grounder out tonight in the 7th.
I would hope so. I mean, you're in a 1-run game leading off an inning. It's a completely, it's a big spot. I mean, and all spots are big. This is the major leagues, and that's why I understand the critiquing of why is Manny Machado active if he's not healthy. And here's the other thing that you always say, and this is accurate. If you are active and playing, then you're accountable for your performance or lack thereof. So if you're out there, people are going to be critical. You're in New York, you're blowing bubbles down the line. That's one thing. The 9th inning, completely different. It's going to happen. You're not going to be perfect in these spots, but it feels like he fails a lot in these spots where you have an opportunity to do something productive. Nobody needed. We would have taken the go-ahead 2-run home run, but how about move the runner to third with nobody out and a runner at second base? How about single? How about have a productive, good at bat, as opposed to 3 strikeouts and 4 ABs here today? The only time you didn't strike out was that, BS, blowing bubbles down the first base line here today. So again, heavy's the head that wears the crown, and that is Manny Machado. And I guess Padres fans are just supposed to deal with this until he heals. And that's frustrating us. He's not hitting .415 and carrying this team. He's just playing, like you said, at 50% and just DHing because there's nothing else he can do right now because he's not healthy.
And he's not going on the IL.
No.
He never was. I argued that it kind of was a no-brainer. I mean, dude, if you can't run, what are you doing? There's no, I mean, get healthy. The quad, I feel like a muscle strain is something that could, like, if you push it too hard, could easily get re-injured. And if Darvish, for just, I guess, his hamstring tightness or whatever, is going to go on the IL, then why is Manny not going on the IL for a quad strain? It just
Because it's
didn't make.
Manny Machado.
I know. Well, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. And, when he sprained his ankle in 2022 in Colorado, and he was back out there a couple days later, for the next like month or so, he did not play well. Now, granted, I think he was still playing third base out there, and a twisted ankle is a little different than a strained like quad or hamstring. Like a strained muscle is different than like a twisted ankle, but still, if he's out there, he needs to produce and he needs to perform. And tonight, going over 4, 3 strikeouts, ninth inning looking, that to me is what I would direct my like frustration with
Anger
Manny
towards,
Machado at,
Yeah.
not him jogging down the first base line.
What else can he do?
Because there's nothing else he can do. If this was a situation where Manny never got hurt and he did that tonight, then it's scorched earth towards Manny Machado. 100%.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I was critical of him. What was it, Jim? A month ago for not hustling.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a big thing because a lot of people, certainly in the chat and on social media, came to his defense. Like, well, he knows his body and it's a long season and he's going to play 155 games. He posts, he's going to hit 30 home runs. I'm like, but any other player that doesn't run out a double play ball, he could have stayed out of a double play. But for whatever reason, like I said that night, Jim, you remember it a month ago, I'm like, Manny, for whatever reason, has his own rules. And we've been fed this narrative by him that everyone accepts. You know what I mean? That the rules don't apply to him. Now, I'm not saying that tonight. I'm not. But it looks like if you watch this play and you watch it on social media, if like you said, if you're scrolling on social media and you're some dude in Milwaukee and you're scrolling and you're a baseball fan, you're like, what the F is this?
Yep.
Like that's your first impression. If you watch that tonight, you don't do the research. You don't care about the backstory. By the way,
I apologize. Hip flexor strain or whatever it is. If it's a hip flexor, it's whatever he's injured with, like officially, it's like causing him to not be able to run fast.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say hip flexor is more like high quad groin. Like hip flexor is like that attached area. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the
it's not great.
Yeah, not whatever it is. It's causing him that he can't run, and I think also too, like a lot of people, the perception. I'd say this all the time. Perception's reality. Okay, and if you're gonna blow a bubble while jogging down the first base line, you already. I mean, Manny Machado is already carrying the baggage of everything that he's done in his past with him. Probably not the best look, I would agree. So yeah, maybe
what also isn't the best look? A 677 OPS on June 15th, which is tomorrow with 6 home runs. I mean,
that's way worse.
This is getting to the point of like a massive disappointing season. He's hitting 248, which is actually up over the last month. He's had some moments. He hasn't yet carried them. I know he's hurt, but he's the guy. I mean, if they're not going to win and he's going 0 for 4, then the first person you're turning your attention to is either Manny Machado or Manny McNuggets. Manny McNuggets, thank you for the super chat. Might be a super sticker. Doesn't appear in our software, but you see it on YouTube. So thank you, Manny McNuggets, for your support of the channel. If you're here, guys, subscribe. Year-round content for Padres fans. If you're here, thank you for the super chats as well. Click the $sign below the chat box. Like Michael, good to have you, man, here in the chat with us tonight. He says, wish Major League Baseball treated captaincy like the NHL captains and alternate captains to set culture. I see Merrill being that guy. Manny can still be, but with less pressure, like an alternate. I mean, it's funny. I don't even know. Is it because baseball doesn't do any captaincy, right? At any point, do they? Do the Yankees, have they done it over the years?
The Yankees have named Aaron Judge the captain. Salvi Perez wears the C on his chest for the Royals. Right. They had Jeter as the appointed captain for the Yankees. I think Buster Posey was the appointed captain for the Giants.
This guy can't be the captain because I read the article in the UT last year. Because because like everyone's poked holes in Manny Machado as a player off the field. That what is this high school? His own words. What is this high school baseball?
26 leaders, 26
Yeah,
captains.
we're all, I don't believe that. Yeah, like I do it by my actions, not my words. I just don't buy it with Manny. Again, when it's good, it's really good. Unfortunately, with the Padres, this is his 6th season. There have been some bad years in there.
Yeah.
Like out of the 6 seasons, there have been like one really good season and then 4.5 other years right now. So it's tough. You make $350 million, Jim, plus a $300 million deal before that, and you're the face of everything. When it's good, it's good. But there's been a lot of not good here as well. Therefore, he takes the brunt of it.
Right. And again, the thanks for the super, Michael. Appreciate it, buddy.
Appreciate you, man.
I just think that like the directed anger towards Manny is going to the side of the part that is very easily explained tonight. Now, is it a bad look because of his rep? Yeah, it is not great. Him blowing the bubble down the first base line, jogging, the guy at third bobbles the ball, any other player safe, but he's out by 2 feet. Like, yeah, it's a bad look. It is. It's easily explained. Like, I can easily explain it and not easily, but I can excuse it, right? But then the excuse becomes the problem, because the problem or the excuse is like you're out there playing injured, and then you go to the side of you're also not helping the team much offensively, and you have to be fully healthy for this team in the long run, and you got to produce. And what if, John, you playing right now through this injury is prolonging and making your recovery time longer than it would have been if you just went on the IL?
Not what if. I mean, it is. That's just how this stuff works, right? Like, let me guess. Are you going to be better off doing a full true rehab of an injury or doing a quasi rehab and playing at the highest level of the sport? And if you can get a quote unquote get away with that, you're doing it at the expense of something. What is that? His ability to run and his ability to field. They're not even putting him in the field. So
No.
it's a bad situation is what it is. Fortunately, they're a good enough team that, again, if they were 20 games under 500, it's completely different. They're fine right now. This doesn't define their season, but they need Manny. I said today, Toddy's been really good, and Profar we know has been really good. Do they even need Manny? But you can't have nights like this. You can't have nights like this in the big league where every time you lose and you look at Manny Machado, he's 0 for 4. Like, I mean, he's the difference between winning and losing tonight. I know there's a lot of people that are the difference between winning and losing, but you get a runner over, you can win this game. You get a runner in, you can win this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that falls on him. I mean, it just does.
I do think there needed to be some question after the game about that play in particular. I mean,
yeah, I didn't watch post game.
I didn't hear anything. I haven't read anything
we might have
yet.
seen it all.
I haven't heard anybody ask Manny, "Hey, Manny, in that, what was it, 7th inning, right?
7th inning.
In that 7th inning, or I would just ask this: are you able to run 100%? Then
we know the answer.
But I know, but I'm just saying, like, that's where you get your answer to why he was jogging up the first base line and blowing bubbles. Is if he tells you, like, look, I'm giving everything I have out there. I'm playing through something right now, and I've been told probably not to push it, and I'm just trying to heal. I'm trying to give everything I can, and Manny would obviously throw in, that's just baseball. That's baseball. That's baseball. But I'm getting better, and blah, 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 blah. But, like, is anybody going to ask him that? Is anybody going to go up in the clubhouse and ask him, like, hey, Manny, 7th inning there, ground ball to third baseman bobbles it. It was shown you maybe not going 100% up the line. Are you able to run 100%? Are you still feeling the effects of your hip flexor strain? Like, and then you get
also, what are you looking? What are you looking for in the 9th inning?
Oh, he argued that pitch that was literally
he kind of like looked and thought about it and kind of headed back. He thought about it. It was basically middle away. If you're not looking for a 99-mile-per-hour fastball from Edwin Diaz in that spot, then what are you possibly looking for? What could you possibly be looking for in that spot? You have 2 strikes on you. You have to fend off. You have to be willing to swing away. What on earth are you looking for in that spot? It's just nonsensical. Manny McNuggets, thank you for the super chat. He says Manny 670 OPS proves 2 things. He loves his love for McDonald's chicken nuggets, his financial obligation to San Diego FC. I mean, I think that's I don't think it has anything to do with like whether he's quote unquote in shape or not, or his weight. I really don't. I think it has more to do with his actual health, like whether he's hurt or not. Forget about the San Diego FC thing, obviously, but it's just been a bad year is what it's been, Jim. I mean, it's just been a flat out bad year. He's coming off the elbow. Now he's got a hip flexor and he just hasn't performed all year. So I don't know how he explains it to himself, but I just explained this. It's been an awful year for him.
Yeah, awful year. Him and Tatis both going 0 for tonight. Wasn't great, but Tatis is also, carried this team offensively for the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
He can have an 0 for 4 night here and there if he's going to put up big, those numbers consistently. But I just look at tonight as a night once again. It's not even about it's about the 9th inning. I'm like, if I want to shrink this down to one singular moment, it's not him jogging up the first base line in the 7th. It's not him going a total 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. It's that 9th inning, runner on second.
Nobody out.
Profar put together a great at bat versus Diaz.
Now you got the steal.
Zokar gets the steal, and you gotta at worst get the runner to third.
Gotta get him over.
Look at a called third strike, pretty much, right down the middle.
I mean, kind of down the middle of the plate. I mean, it wasn't exactly surprising where it ended up.
So
middle away.
Again, I have heard a lot this season so far when like, oh, Manny's clutch. It's like, not this year.
Oops.
Great. What happened? There we go.
We back.
Like, man, like it's a fact. Unless you suck up to Manny and you're up in the media, Manny has not been clutch this season. He has not been clutch for the last year and a half plus. He's had now a year plus 2+ months here of bad baseball. Is it because of injuries? Is it because he's recovering from his elbow? Last year, is it because of the elbow? It's whatever it is, he's out there and he's always going to say, I'm never going to be sitting on the bench. I'm never going to go on the IL. It's kind of one of those like a blessing and a curse thing with Manny. Like, it's a great quality to have that you're always going to go out there and you're always, regardless, going to play. But if you're hurting the team, that's when you get into the like area of, dude, just like go rest, go heal. Like, you're not like, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. If you go on the IL, no one's going to say you're not good. I mean, just go get healthy.
The funny thing is he needs to prove to a lot of Padres fans. I agree with you. He doesn't have to prove anything and he can go on the IL. What he needs to prove to Padres fans this year is he's capable of delivering for a team that could kind of desperately use him. They're a 500 team. They could absolutely use him playing better than he is. I mean, this is the classic perception is reality. Thank you, Jared. Not mad at him, not running, mad at the bubble. Just take it seriously or sit. That's the issue. When you get tens of thousands of replays on social media and presumably elsewhere beyond social media, and people see you're blowing a bubble when you can't get down the line. And this was the classic example. Jim, we said this a week ago. I said there's going to be a situation where he like cues a ball, a swinging bunt 30 feet down the line, and every runner in baseball would be safe. And he's not. Or even we said the day he pinch hit, what if he had single to right field and was thrown out at first because he had single to right field because he just flat out cannot move. So again, an inability to run is where he's at. The fact that he's active, somebody has to be accountable for that. The blowing bubbles, I don't really know if he even realizes he's doing it, but it certainly is an awful look optically.
Yeah, I don't it's kind of just instinctual. I don't think he realizes he's doing it. He blows
They
bubbles
have
all
a
the time.
bobblehead with him blowing bubbles, don't they?
Do I have it over there? Yeah, I have it over there.
Yeah.
I have a Manny Machado blowing a bubble while making a great defensive play
Yeah.
bobblehead. So he just,
No.
it's just what he does. I mean, it's not something that he's thinking about like, oh, I'm just going to blow a bubble while I'm doing, like, he blows a bubble like all the time when he's running or in the field. Like when he's mid at bat, he blows a bubble. Like that's just what he does. It's just unfortunate that you have him blowing a bubble coupled with him jogging up the first baseline, and you have that reason be because he's injured and hurting and he can't run full speed up the first baseline, because if he did, he'd potentially get even more injured. And then you go to the then why are you even playing conversation, and then you go to the like, well, who's better than Manny? If Manny can go out there and swing a bat, would you want him to go swing a bat, or do you want to have Tyler Wade out there? And it's like, well, you want Manny Machado out there because Manny Machado is better than Tyler Wade at 50%. But then you're like, well, Manny's not helping us. And then you're like, well, if Tyler Wade was out there, he would have beat out that grounder to third. And you can go back and forth and back and forth. There's the end of the day, all of that right there that I just said, the equation equals Manny's going to play.
But the other thing that we haven't discussed greatly this season is how many games has he even played in the field? So
I don't know.
Part of his value,
that,
obviously,
right?
is his defense. I mean, you could argue a lot of his value right now would be with his defense. This year, he has played in the field 26 times. So he had the elbow. And then he basically got it to a point where it was almost every day for a month. Let's say that. Month off, got it to the point where they got him to every day for roughly 3 weeks. And now when is the next time we will see him in the field? And that's how you know the next time he's actually healthy. The next time we see him in the field. What's that?
I mean, Kevin with us today made it seem like he was going to be out there like tomorrow in the field. He looked great. Defense. I mean, he was out there doing drills. Man, he looked awesome. Well, if he's jogging up the first baseline tonight, he's not ready to play in the field, because that tells me he's still like hurt. Unless he is not hurting. You know what? Actually, here's the thing, John. If he's in the field tomorrow playing third,
well, then he should have been running down the line.
Then this tonight, him jogging the first base line becomes what
looks worse. You can't
becomes what every hater of Manny Machado wants desperately, which is, this to be him jogging up the first base line for whatever reason.
Yeah, you almost can't put him in the field tomorrow, but you got to protect him and pretend like he's actually hurt, because because if that is your effort for a team that supposedly, hey, we're going to be the aggressor and we're going to out hustle, we're going to outwork, and then you show that on the field, I'm telling you guys, we could turn on all 15 Major League Baseball games tonight. You'll never see someone run like that down the line. No. You'll never. Now, again, a lot of it is defensible because we're saying he's not healthy. But if he's in the field tomorrow, to your point, then what does that say about whether he's healthy? The whole thing is a mess. The whole thing is a complete mess. Paul, thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
He says, when is the Manny Bubblegum bobblehead night? It's already happened. It is truly happened.
Last year, right?
So it was a year ago, but they could probably do it again.
Literally have it right over there in the corner.
HBBV, thank you for the super in the membership. He says Manny needs to hustle like he does to Louis Vuitton.
It is crazy because tonight, I would say, and I think you would agree, this is the most legitimate hatred towards Manny I've seen in a while.
I don't know if it's really coming from Padres fans, because I haven't seen a ton of it. I mean, obviously the people that are here tonight are being critical, but are you seeing it widespread across social media? Absurd criticism. I'm seeing it nationally. I'm seeing these accounts run with it, but will it ever really impact him locally? Are Padres fans turning on 31-year-old Manny Machado? I don't think so.
I look at, let me give this guy a shout. I'm gonna give you a shout out, Will Holder. Love you, Will. I mean, usually when you retweet stuff, it's kind of like you're retweeting that opinion because you kind of agree with that opinion.
Okay.
Now, he did say, I only enjoy third base Manny Machado.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry I'm reading your tweets,
he's DH, and
But he did retweet this, and I'm kind of was like, oh, that's interesting. And this is not an indictment on Will. I'm just saying. Look, I get Manny was great. I have his jersey. But what he's done this last year and a half is unacceptable. Never mind the fact he came into the 2023 season demanding a new contract. Instead of focusing on a World Series run, crying about the cost of eggs or some shit, kind of had it, to be honest. Like, is there really a sentiment out there, a group of Padres fans and of like, you've had it with Manny Machado?
I think at most it's a vocal minority. I don't think it's a large contingent of the fan base. I really don't. I think if he doubles tomorrow, people will completely spin their opinion on him. I will say this: the Padres could use someone like Brian Windhorst calling him out. I mean, you know, I'm like, and maybe that's like someone. And again, it's not going to come from the clubhouse. It's not going to come from the manager. It really probably shouldn't even at this point. That's not. But like, it's not me and you doing it. And there is no Brian Windhorst of Major
I've
League
tried.
Baseball. I mean, and it's not relevant. I mean, Jeff Passan doesn't go on SportsCenter and call out players. Nobody cares. They don't talk about Major League Baseball. They're talking about Game 4 of the NBA Finals. They're talking about the Chiefs Super Bowl ring. Jeff Passan's relevance nationally is limited to social media and a couple of hits on, SportsCenter here and there. But like, does anyone have the willingness to say that he has underperformed? I mean, we have the willingness to say it, and then it's seen as, oh, you guys are so critical of Manny Machado. No, we're telling you the truth.
I mean,
And now again, like me and you saying it is our opinion. Like, where's Jeff Passan? Where's whomever willing to say, hey, you know what? Ever since Manny got that deal, and not to say it's tied to the deal, but the truth is the truth. You're making $350 million, therefore it's irrelevant. I'm not saying it's tied to the deal, but where's the narrative nationally to say, man, this guy's really underperformed since signing that deal? It's amazing that he's been able to dodge that.
Who in baseball that's like a superstar player has like won a World Series, still with that team, big contributor? Like, I'm trying to think. It's not Aaron Judge, not Bryce Harper, even though, but like,
who's won a World Series that's been a key contributor?
Because my point is, Manny's done nothing here, frankly. I mean, if we want to be really honest about this, what has Manny done here in his time in a Padres uniform?
I mean, 2022, very good season, second in MVP voting, arguably could have won it for a good team. That's what he's done.
Well, if that's it in 6 years, not good enough for the amount of money he's being paid, is the point. Even with Bryce Harper leading the Phillies to, what is it, back-to-back World Series? Or no. Did he leave them
No, National League Championship Series, no World Series.
Oh, a World Series. If he doesn't perform, he's going to get criticized because they haven't won a World Series. And until they win a World Series, people are not going to be satisfied in Philadelphia. Everyone loves Bryce Harper there, and I think Bryce Harper has a great connection with that city. But I guarantee you, if Bryce Harper struggles, and in turn the team struggles, guess what's going to happen? Bryce is going to get criticized. If Aaron Judge in New York struggles and the Yankees struggle, he's going to get criticized. Kind of like what happened last year with Aaron Judge. Didn't have a great season coming off his 62 home run year. And that team was criticized, but also he was saying the right things postseason, or, not postseason, but like after the season. And my point is, like, what has Manny done here? And we had the same conversation about Tatis. What has Tatis done here? They've done nothing. They've accomplished nothing.
I think nothing is far-fetched. I truly
what have they
feel that
accomplished?
I mean, here's the thing. I always thought when Manny signed here, he'd be judged by, can I bring a World Series to the city of San Diego? But now, halfway through his tenure here, essentially, who knows how many years he plays here, if he lives out that deal or not. Let's just say he's played 6 of his 12 seasons here, whatever. I'm not fully convinced that the narrative on Manny at the end of the day is going to be related to winning a World Series or not.
I think
it might be, hey, he didn't live up to expectations beyond that. I always thought it would be tied to a World Series. I really did. I mean, what that meant in the moment, post-Chargers, the money, I always thought he just had to win a World Series here for it to be justified as a good contract. Now you're into a second contract. I don't know. All these markets are unique, Jim. And we've talked about this narrative so much this year. This well, in New York, they're held accountable, and in San Diego, they're not. I'm making it up. Whomever said that. We've talked about this multiple times with players saying this or that theme on social media. I don't feel it's anything like that. I don't know how Manny's going to be received at the end of his time here. And I don't know if it'll be solely based on quote unquote, what has he won here? Because again, if we use that threshold, there's not a lot of winning that's been done here. Like Fernando Tatis Jr. has been an unbelievable individual over portions of his career. Comes up in 2019, he's brilliant, doing these crazy matrix slides and hitting 40 home runs. And that's a big total in Padres history in 2021. Manny Machado finishes second in MVP voting. They're in the National League Championship Series. These aren't things that are accomplished every day in Padres history. I'm not saying they can't do more. They can. But I think saying they haven't accomplished anything is probably too far.
Then what have they accomplished?
Well, they've gotten to a National League Championship Series, they being Manny. Manny's finished second in MVP voting. Tatis has 2 top 3 finishes, I think, in his career as a 25-year-old. I'm saying they've done work. They have done work. Maybe not the work that is necessary to get the franchise where it needs to go or to lift them collectively as a team. But, Toddy ain't Jerks and Profar here in his tenure. And Manny isn't Jay Cronenworth here in his tenure. Although we'd have to look at the numbers. He's been better. My point is like they've put in work. Has it been enough? No.
How many All-Star games has Manny made while in San Diego? 2?
I don't even know if it's 2. It's at least 1. There was 2020 no All-Star game. So he could only qualify for 4. There's only been 4 years he's played here until this year.
Okay. I see in the chat.
2,
well, Tony Gwynn didn't win anything here. Tony Gwynn
he made a World Series.
Series.
That's different.
He's won 2 pennants with the Padres. He's a 15-time All-Star. He's a 7-time Silver Slugger. He's an 8-time batting champ. He's a 5-time Gold Glove winner. He's a career lifetime
MVP.
338
is that what we're
hitter.
going to use? Or is that what we're going to use though? Piling up this type of award. I mean, I don't even care about that. I don't care about Gold Gloves. I don't care about Silver Sluggers. I don't care about Platinum Gloves.
I'm just saying, in the time that Manny has been here, okay, the amount of money, and the money plays a factor in this as well, no doubt about it, in my mind. Like, you sign Manny Machado. Why are you signing Manny Machado if you're not signing him to go to World Series?
Well, you did. That's the thing. But what happens over time is that narratives change. I don't like it. Okay, when Manny Machado retires,
for guys making $350 million,
if he retires with 3,000 hits and 500 home runs, that'll be a lot of the story. Part of the story will be, he never won a World Series. But again, I think it's different. Listen, if he's a Yankee for 12 straight years, if he's a Yankee for 12 straight years and doesn't appear in or win a World Series, that's all anyone cares about.
So
but he's not.
Why shouldn't that be the case here too?
Because it's not. Because we live here and I consume it and it's consumed differently. And it's viewed differently. And I think some agree with us, but I think some don't.
So just because this franchise has won nothing, then the standard should be, who cares if they win?
It's not that. But let me ask you this. Manny gets the 3,500. He goes in the Hall of Fame as a Padre.
And they don't make one World Series.
Are people booing at Cooperstown?
He doesn't win one World Series or go to one World Series?
As a Padre?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying, if he gets the 3,000 hits and 500 home runs and goes in as a Padre, he'll be celebrated. Let's continue on. Slotting ain't easy. Thank you. Says Manny too prideful for a sack bunt. Thoughts? I didn't watch the whole plate appearance. I'm assuming you have to swing away. You have to swing away.
It wasn't a great at bat.
He's swinging, right? I mean, you can't. I mean, Manny Machado should not be bunting. I mean, unless it's the complete element of surprise and it's all on him and he just determines to do it. But no, you can't. I mean, you can't. He's got to come through. He's got to be able to move a runner. He's got to be able to come through. You cannot bunt, right?
No,
it's as simple as that.
No fuck.
No way.
If Manny's bunting,
everyone's gonna be calling him out for that,
dude.
Yeah, that would be a whole nother story. All right, let's get back to this in a moment. We do want to tell you about our partner here on the Wrap Up Show. Our buddies at Finleet, great guys, San Diegans, local startup right here in San Diego, right? Huge Padres fans. They have offices that overlook Petco Park. Actually, you see inside Petco Park from their offices over the outfield walls. Quickest way to explain FinLead is this. They allow fans to own a piece of the potential upside of real athletes. Someone like a Shedry Vargas, who is one of the top prospects right now in the Texas Rangers organization. He is their first athlete that they have on board. He had 2 home runs yesterday, by the way, for a Rangers single-A affiliate. He's still only 19 years of age. And you can support a rising prospect and get paid a piece of his future major league earnings. Okay. He signed for very little money. They're raising money that's going to allow him to focus on baseball year round. As you'll see on the screen as I scroll down, if you click the link in the description down below and then scroll down, you can see you can invest in Vargas for as little as $96. And based on his success, that determines how much of investment return you'll receive, dividends, potential investment return or dividends. So $96 could truly turn into hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and then more money, like, hundreds of dollars could turn into tens of thousands of dollars, and thousands of dollars could turn into even more than that. So, nobody knows what's going to happen with the Shedry Vargas. Fernando Tatis Jr. was a player that did something similar with a company called Big League Advance. He gave up 10% of future earnings, maybe more than that, which is like 30, 40, 50 million dollars. Like, imagine if you as an individual could have invested in Fernando Tatis Jr. So you have that opportunity with the Shedry Vargas. If you're looking for more information on a really cool San Diego-based company, click the link in the description down below.
Yep. Glad that FinLead's on board. We have something planned with FinLead that I think we're going to announce here in the near future. So stay tuned for that. But we're glad that FinLead is on board, and all the information is in the description below. Click the link and check out their website. Glad they're on board.
All right. Back to the Supers. Thank you, Finley. Thank you guys for hanging out. Subscribe here on content for Padres fans, the home of real Padres talk, as you can tell. I mean, is this being discussed elsewhere? Like, this is your home for real Padres talk, so subscribe. And also, thank you for the Supers. Click the $ below the chat box. Joshua says, what do we call it now that our rookie center fielder is putting up better numbers than our highest paid player on the team? You know what I would call that? Baseball. And Manny would call it the same thing. That actually can happen. You have guys that make $700K that have good years all the time. Relievers, starters, position, but happens all the time. Garrett Crochet. I mean, there's a zillion examples of this. I don't know. I guess it's good that the Padres have Jackson Merrill as opposed to not having him. Because Trey Grisham wouldn't be doing this.
No. I think the great thing with Jackson Merrill this year is rarely has anybody felt like pressure on him. Has at any point in this season you felt like he was dealing with any type of like real pressure?
Jackson?
Yes.
No.
Right. So that's a great thing to have is, hey, I go out there every day. I'm hitting 7th, 8th, or 9th, probably 7th, right? There's not this, I'm not making $300 million, which it would be nice to make $300 million. But again, I'm fighting for, every at bat, every pitch. I'm a rookie. I need to prove myself, but also I know that I got to be locked in on everything. And with that, that's kind of not where Manny's at. Manny doesn't have to worry about, he got his contract. He's a vet. He's a guy that has dealt with like almost every situation possible.
True.
And I think with Jackson Merrill, you're seeing a guy that just going out there and just playing baseball and having fun. And
yes,
thankfully, his struggles that he has had this year, albeit it's been brief, hasn't like fully got to him to the point where it's caused a downward spiral. And I think he's actually overcome a lot of that, and he's doing great. And I hope this is the Jackson Merrill that this team has, and he only improves instead of the other way around.
Now, this is a fascinating conversation that can't necessarily, be discussed over a series of, 1 hour or one night or 5 minutes. But Legend of the Fall, thank you for the super, says signing Machado over Harper was a franchise-altering mistake. Even when healthy, he doesn't hustle, openly antagonistic to media and fans. He's a bad leader. You listen, in the what have you won? Harper's gotten to World Series here. like with his current team, where Machado hasn't. So that is a feather in Harper's cap. He's also been very clutch, obviously, in some postseason spots with the Phillies. He's still looking for a ring. Manny's still looking for a ring. That's fair and valid. He can't even go down the path. I don't know what it looks like. I really don't. Would it have been drastically different if Harper was here the last 6 years as opposed to Machado? Would they have a World Series? Would they have played in one? I can't answer it. I have no idea. Maybe, but I don't know. Is it franchise-altering mistake? Was it a franchise-altering mistake? That's hard. Listen, we're critical, but that's probably hard for me to say at this point.
Here's the thing. Harper was not signing here.
Well, there's that too.
Like, I know it's easy to think the Padres had their choice of the litter. They could have signed Machado or Harper, and they chose Machado. That's not what happened. What happened was two teams were in on Machado, the White Sox and the Padres. The Padres offered Manny the most money. If the White Sox offered the most money, he's probably in Chicago right now. Actually, take that back. He's in Chicago right now. I mean, imagine White Sox offered him $350 or whatever, and the Padres were at $3. Guess where he's going? He's going to the White Sox because both teams at the time sucked. So that's what it was. Same thing with Hosmer. Same thing with Manny. The Harper situation, Harper has said this, that he chose Philadelphia just like the same reasons why Trey Turner chose Philadelphia, because it wasn't about the money, even though the money had to be there, but he wanted to be in a place that he felt he could grow and an environment that he thought was best suited for him. And that wasn't San Diego. It was Philadelphia. The Padres would have needed to like blow the doors off of Bryce Harper as far as a money deal goes to even be in the conversation. And that wasn't happening because they just signed Manny. They had a discussion with Harper, but it was never getting anywhere past the discussion.
In the theoretical of, what if you would have signed Harper as opposed to Manny? I'm not fully convinced that everything would be roses in San Diego and it would have been this, 2 World Series appearances or 2 National League Championship Series appearances in a World Series and an MVP. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that would have happened. Maybe not. It's hard to do that. You can't do that. I mean, is Aaron Judge the same player if he's not a New York Yankee? How do we know? We don't. Different team, different franchise, different lineup, different organization. Yeah. Spicy Mayo, thank you. He says, in my opinion, Tatis is the guy, not Manny. Love what you all do. We appreciate you. I mean, I think right now Tatis has been more the guy, clearly, than Manny Machado, which is a credit to Tatis for kind of stepping up off some very challenging years for him. Yeah, right. He's done it, you're right, in season as well for Tatis, and hopefully continues. The last 2 days he's been hitless, 2 games. But one of the guys has to be the guy. I don't care who it is. It's not going to be both of them because they're not capable for whatever reason of both doing this at the same time. But it's one's better than zero because we saw zero performing for the first 6 weeks.
Like, until I don't see it, I still believe Manny's going to have at least one hot stretch this year. At least one.
Oh, he'll have one.
You know what I mean? Like, he's going to have one. I don't know when. I don't know. Like, if he goes through the entire season without one and he finishes the year with like a 660 or 650 OPS, then we can say what the actual fuck. But like, I still believe Manny's going to have a hot stretch in him. He just needs to be healthy. Like, because not being healthy right now is not really helping him or the team, which is probably the main issue with this whole thing, with the whole running down the first base line tonight. Like, you're not healthy and you're not helping the team. And then because you're hurt and injured, you have to jog up the first base line. And then it becomes like a really bad look. And it's anyway. I think I still would take a hot Manny Machado over a hot Tatis.
I don't even know what a hot Manny Machado looks like anymore, truthfully. What is that?
Well, whatever he did in 2022 for
stretches when he was like, been a while.
Yeah, because Manny's sitting in the middle of the lineup, Tatis sitting towards the top. So theoretically, if your middle of the order guy is absolutely raking, I think that's better off for your team. Because if you have a guy that's leading off, like I remember with Luis Ariz, I mean, he was on base every single game. But I would rather have a hot if he's on base every game, the guy's behind him, Manny, if he's not getting him in, then him being on base every game, it's not helping it. You need the guy to drive him in.
Yeah, well, Tatis, of course, is capable of driving himself in. Manny theoretically is, but Tatis more so. But Tatis is way more of a power hitter, in my opinion, than Manny Machado. Richard, thank you. He says, because it's coming from me, take this with a grain of salt. Manny's ego is his downfall. Now, Richard's a Dodger fan. If he is hurt, AJ needs to grow a pair and put him on the IL. Why do people walk on eggshells around him? There is this aura about him. He's just different. I don't know if this organization has set him up that way, if that same thing was happening with the Orioles, not the Dodgers in that short period of time. It was such a short period of time. But would it be like this if you play for the White Sox? Probably. Would it be like this if you play for the Cardinals? Probably not. Would he be like this if you play for the Yankees? No. But it seems like he does set the narrative and the rules.
Because the organization
lets it?
I mean, yeah. Like there's no one in there to check Manny. There's no one in there to it feels like there's nobody in this organization to truly hold people accountable. I mean, the manager sure as hell's not doing it. So it's up to the players. Manny is the top dog in that clubhouse, whether you like it or not. Manny's the top guy. And
no doubt,
it's his clubhouse. What he says goes.
Him and Stephen Kolek. Patman 0074, thank you.
26 leaders on the team.
Now, before you freak out, Pat's a loyal viewer and he's followed up by saying he loves the show. But he says, don't care what you say, Jim. You just don't like Manny, and that's fine. But he, along with Toddy and friends, have completely redefined the Padres.
Can I just... Okay. If anybody watched the 2022 year, when Manny was playing great, guess what? Praising Manny. When he wasn't playing great, criticize him, hold him accountable. Like, it's very simple. Like, you know how much shit I gave Tatis this year? How much shit I've given Xander Bogaerts for not getting it done? Like, has there been one player on this team that has not performed and me saying, I just actually love him, so I'm not going to criticize them or try to hold them accountable?
No, it's just because these are high profile players. Of course, we're going to talk more about Manny than we're going to talk about Adrian Morejon. Bad example, but you know what I mean? I mean, just how this is going to work. I mean, there's a handful of high profile players in the Padres. They're going to warrant more of the conversation. Some of this from Patman's right. The organization is different. I mean, without the NFL here, with the money they've spent, they've got these polarizing players. They've got these high-profile players. Now, it hasn't worked out necessarily, wins and losses, but are they relevant? Yeah, they're super relevant, but have they won? Not to the extent that people hope they're going to win it.
And even if I didn't like Manny, which I've never said I don't like him, for the player, right? Where does it say that that's not acceptable for me? Because I cover the Padres, like I have to like every player? Because I consume this team and have Padres content like daily, like I have to like every player? Or do I view this team from a different lens of like performance based? Is that not acceptable?
No, I mean it is. I mean, you can cover it any way you want. I mean, you're right. I mean, we don't have to. You can like whomever you want. You can dislike whomever you want. We're offering our truly opinions, and we keep it typically between the lines, unless the players take us outside of them, like the way Manny Machado comments publicly, and like the articles that have been written by Dennis Lin, Ken Rosenthal, others, Kevin Acee, over the years that
like I have problems with
Manny in a bad light, including last year in September when he was basically, held accountable for the team's failures by Kevin Acee in the UT with all those players and individuals quoted.
Yeah, like that bothered me. I didn't like that at all. And you'll hear people in town that are, some Manny shills, and that doesn't bother them. I'm on the other hand, and I think John as well, like from a team sport wise aspect, like that should bother a lot of people, what he said. And then to back up those remarks and comments in his bad year last year with an even worse year this year, like that should make you upset. That should bother you. And I get it if you're fans obviously view from a different lens, but I'm also saying from the standpoint of like Manny hasn't won anything here, so it's hard for me to see sometimes why there's this like like
Love affair.
love with Manny when I'm kind of like sitting here saying, yeah, he's an amazing player. He has done some amazing things on the field. But what has he done to negate being criticized? Like, why
I'll
can't
tell
he
you
be
what he's done.
criticized?
I'll tell you what he's done. Of course, he can be criticized. Of course, everything you're saying is right. But I'll tell you what he's done that makes his time with the Padres different than if he had signed with the New York Yankees. Top free agents, whatever the reason,
Yeah.
like you're right, he chose the top dollar, which was San Diego. Free agents historically do not choose San Diego.
Right.
I mean, for whatever that's worth, now it's changed a little bit. The narrative maybe has changed on that since Machado or, even like a Hosmer was a huge deal for them, which is absurd to think about. But like he chose San Diego, therefore he's kind of like one of ours, so to speak. The Yankees have a dime a dozen, man. How many $200 million players have they signed
A lot.
over the last 20 years? A lot of them. But like there's only one $300 million man that chose San Diego. Tatis was here. He extended. Yeah, Bogarts chose here. He got a lot of money. It wasn't $300 million. I'm just saying, like, when he did it, it was almost impossible to fathom a player in his prime, 26, choosing San Diego over LA, New York, whatever the options were. You get it. I think there's something to be said for that. And the next time he has a 2-home run game, we're going to see the tweets. You guys know who you were that doubted Manny Machado. And you just got to live with it because that's just sports and that's opinions. And that is what it is. But we all know the truth. And the truth is he's vastly underperformed since the start of 2023. And if you think otherwise, you're not being truthful with yourself. All right, let's get back to these supers here. JD Gasher, thank you, says it'll be a sad reflection on the Padres and Manny if his only World Series appearance comes as a Dodger. I agree with that. Who would say LA did more with him in one half season? I mean, they were well set up. Let's be honest. They were already positioned to make the postseason. And they always have a team that's primed to potentially make a run in the postseason if they don't capitalize on that. But that is kind of damning. If he has one career World Series appearance as a half season as a rental with the Dodgers, and he also, of course, had the very infamous line of "We're going to win a World Series before you do,"
and the whole "I'm not Johnny Hustle" in the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot in there. There's been a lot.
Yeah, there's been a lot. That's why I think it just would go such a long way if if the 2022 team made the World Series and he like was the best player on that team that year by far. Right. You have something in your back pocket, be like, dude, this guy took this team to a World freaking Series. It gives him a little bit of leeway. Actually, a lot of bit of leeway.
He was 13 in the postseason that year. He was 13 for 48. I can't do the quick math on it.
It wasn't great.
Not great.
No, he wasn't great.
He had 3 home runs, 1 in each series.
I know. Yeah. He didn't have a good postseason that year. He didn't.
It wasn't bad. There
were still 3 wins away from
no, he had 271. 271 with 3 home runs, 3 series. I mean,
it's fine. It
wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. They're 3 wins away from a World Series. I mean, that's closest they've been in 20 plus years.
No, it wasn't bad. Matthew, thank you, says he blames Peter for Manny's terrible contract. I don't like blaming Peter.
Dude, it's so crazy.
Not here.
Like, isn't it crazy that 48 hours ago, World Series? I mean, this is exactly what we've been talking about.
But it's not true. This is more of a deep dive on like Manny and like his 6-year run than it is on tonight's loss. I mean, we started the show by saying they could still win the series. Who cares? One game. Dude, this National League sucks. They could do anything on this road trip, Jim. I'll be honest with you right now. They go 1-5 on this trip.
They're still in it.
I mean, it would suck. They're still in it. You know what I mean? Like nothing's being determined in this series. Nothing is. They win 1 of 3 as opposed to 2 of 3. Okay, not ideal, but season ain't on the line tonight. It's not. What is being discussed, which is way more relevant, is A, is Manny healthy? The answer is no. B, will he produce for us this year for the Padres? We have no clue.
And this
That's
should,
relevant.
by the way, also too, this conversation about Manny should have nothing to do with his. I know, like Schulte loves to bring this up a lot of times. Like, oh, Manny doesn't care. Like, no, dude, he cares a lot.
Wait,
Everybody
who says
cares.
that? Schulte says that post. Like, of course he cares.
Well, Schulte's brought up kind of impromptu about how much these players care.
Yeah, of course they
I would
care.
hope they care. They all care. This is not a case of lack of care
No.
or lack of want to or lack of trying. It's just like they're just not getting it done.
Yeah.
He's not getting it done. Like Manny gives a big fuck about this team and baseball and everything.
You heard Jim.
So that should not even be anywhere near
Oops.
the conversation about Manny's struggles this season. Like, oh, he doesn't care. He took the money, he doesn't care. Like, yeah, I do have a problem with Manny last spring training and how he handled the contract with the Padres. But just because he got the money and he's not performed since, I don't think I've sat here once. I don't think anybody's sitting there, or they shouldn't, being like, well, he got the money, doesn't care anymore. Like, he got the money, he's not performing, and it's a bad look on him. That's how it is.
No doubt about it. Okay, we're going to get back to the chat in a moment. We remind you that we've got a great partner here on the wrap-up show. You can play simple pick'em contesting with Underdog Fantasy. Best and easiest place to play fantasy sports is Underdog. Take that from us. We're playing essentially each and every day. We've had some huge wins. Jim's had a couple of $400 or $500 wins this year. If you use promo code PODSWRAP, you're getting a free special pick plus up to $250 as a first-time deposit. They're going to match 50% of your first deposit, where you can walk away with $250 in your first deposit with bonus cash plus the free special pick. Simple higher or lowers, right? You just pick, higher than a total base for Manny Machado or lower than 5.5 strikeouts for Matt Waldron. You get a couple of right, you can win. The more you get right, the more you can win. You can win 325 times your money in a single night. You heard me right. You can win big time with Underdog Fantasy. It's the best and easiest place to play. You can play Padres Pick'ems beginning tomorrow with Mets and Padres game 2 of the series. Just click the link in the description down below. And again, use promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP, a free special pick plus up to $250 as a first-time deposit offer, Jim.
Yeah. Scan the QR code right here. Takes you to the Underdog Fantasy app store and Underdog Fantasy app in the app store. Download the app. Use the promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Start playing, and your first $250 deposited, you can get some free money to win real money. It's super easy, super simple, and have fun, guys.
Promo code again is PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. Play along with us. You can play Padres Pick'ems across all sports, by the way. NBA, they'll have a 5th game. NHL, whatever it is. NFL, college football coming up later this year. Patman 0074, thank you again for the super. He says, Manny's a jerk. Prideful too, but acting like a Hall of Fame Padre didn't do anything meaningful for San Diego seems dishonest. Love you guys, though. My favorite Padres show. Thank you. But acting like a Hall of Fame Padre didn't do anything meaningful for San Diego seems dishonest. I mean, who knows what happens over the next 10 years?
Are you talking about
or
Manny?
6? What?
Is he talking about Manny?
I think Manny's a jerk, he says, right?
Manny's a jerk, but acting
Prideful
like a Hall of
too.
Fame Padre. Manny's not a Hall of Famer yet.
Oh, Bill, he'll certainly be a Hall of Fame. Well, he'll be a whatever they call their Wall of Fame, Hall of Fame. He'll be a Padre Ring of Honor.
And you know what the great thing about this whole discussion about Manny Machado is like his career's not over.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got years and years.
These discussions about Manny Machado could all go away if in the next couple of years this team makes it to, or hell, even wins a World Series.
Right. Or it could get a lot, the narrative could shift more towards what we've said, which is, has this guy won,
Yeah, like the amount of money that they've invested into Manny Machado, I don't think they were thinking like, oh, we're just going to have a couple years where we compete, a couple years where we make the postseason, never win a division, and we'll make one NLCS appearance. Like, I think, honestly, everybody's expecting more, as they should. That's a good thing from this whole team, not just Manny, this whole team. The amount of resources and money and trades that has been invested into this team over the last 5+ years with when Manny first signed here in 2019. I don't think the end result to the run, whenever it ends, was a couple postseason appearances with one NLCS run in it.
But like you said, that we're reading a book that has 400 pages and we've read 190 pages.
Right.
That's a lot of pages to be read. Now maybe the 190 pages that we've read are the best because that's when he was his youngest, and the next 210 suck.
It's like it's like a TV series, like a TV series, and episode 3 and 5 were like really good, 5 being the best, but episodes 1, 2, 3, 6 or whatever like have all
but what if 8,
sucked.
9, and 10 are like unbelievable?
That's the thing, is you're sitting there being like, look, I have not liked this show so far. A couple episodes have been really good, and I really hope they stick the landing with episode 8, 9, 10 in the finale. They have an opportunity. Do I have much faith that they'll stick this landing and have a great finale? Yet to be, not really, but I'm still going to watch, still going to consume, and I hope that the end of the series, it turns out to be a banger. Because right now, leading up to whatever episode they're on out of a 10-part series or whatever, it's not been great,
right,
albeit a couple episodes being really good.
Kai, thank you for the super chat. Guys, if you're here, please subscribe here on Content for Padres Fans, the home of real Padres talk. Thank you for the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. He says, at their best, Tatis is a far, far better player. I mean, I'm taking Tatis over Manny any day of the week. He's 25. Machado is 31, coming off significant injuries. Man, Toddy too, obviously, over the course of the last 24 months or so. But yeah, I'm taking Tatis over Manny at this point in their careers. I would, if I had to, I would take Tatis over Manny. Certainly. If someone said, hey, forecast out through 2026, the next 2.5 years, I'm taking Tatis over Manny every day of the week.
Now, I don't even know if you can consider Tatis being in his prime yet.
Yeah, I would.
25, you would?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. 60 year in the big leagues. Now he's missed time, but yeah, he's got enough. He has enough seasoning. He should absolutely be in his prime.
Prime Manny or prime Tatis?
I would take me personally, Toddy. I'm a Toddy apologist. I like Toddy more than Manny, even when they're both going great. I'd take Toddy as from a fandom perspective over Manny any day of the week. So me, I'll take Toddy. I think Toddy's going to have, we'll see if we're proven right or not. I think he'll have a 50 home run season in his career, close. And I don't know if, Manny's never been that player. So he's just more dynamic. He's more exciting to me.
Like, what is Manny's best season? Manny's best year.
38 home runs, 36, 37.
Well, it was if you want to go the year he got traded as his best year, listen to these numbers with the Orioles first half of the season in 2018, John, 96 games. He had 24 home runs and 65 RBIs. He hit 315 with a 963 OPS. As a 25, and that was him at 25. So him at 25 and Toddy right now at 25.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I would take Machado's year, but also he played in Baltimore.
I think I'm taking Manny, dude, because he's playing
shortstop. Yeah, those numbers are way better, but there's a couple of qualifying factors here. Toddy with missing 2 years. So let's see if his age 27 looks better than his age 25. Very possible. Secondly, Manny in Baltimore is going to have better numbers than Manny in San Diego because Baltimore's way better hitter's yard. So, and by the way, look at Manny since then. Like, other than 2020, which was great for 60 games, it wasn't his fault. There was a pandemic, and he was great. He truly was great. He hasn't gotten close to that type of 963 production. He hasn't had an OPS over 900 other than 2020 since 2018. So, like, again, you want to make a truthful, unbiased statement. Manny's numbers are going down. His numbers have gone down. Is he going to buck that trend? Maybe for a season, but it's not this season. So is it going to be in 2025 as a 32-year-old heading for age 33? Start treading into like uncharted territory with a player that is now 6-7 years removed from their best season. So, like, are you getting back to your best season when you're 6-7 years removed from it? Probably not.
It just sucks too, because like you had a feeling watching that 2020 year, a 27-year-old Manny Machado,
He would
that
have been amazing
could
if that was a full
that
year.
that could have been his best year or one of his best years
He was
in the bigs.
incredible. His final
Uh,
30 games, he was incredible.
Like yeah, I mean, it sucks because like you're looking at the prime of Manny, 25, 26, 27, 28, and he has a really good 29-year-old season. Maybe it's an injury thing. I don't know, but like John, if I'm just like, because I mean, Manny Machado in Baltimore,
It was unbelievable. I agree.
oof,
Yep, he was.
I think I might be taking Manny.
Yeah, no, it's fair. That's completely fair.
I think I
Again,
might
it's
be
like we don't
taking
know what
Manny.
Tatis is going to be as a 26-year-old because we
Yeah,
haven't seen it yet.
yeah, I think I'm taking Manny at this point.